Hey, folks, welcome to the Alan Mo Show. And we've got a special guest today, Mo. And, I'm excited to talk to Kyle. So, Mo, tell us what's going on.
Al, how you doing? Hey everyone, it's great to have you back. With us today, we have Kyle Henson. Kyle and I used to work together back in the day. Actually, Kyle was Seeking Healthcare employee number one back in 2009 when we started it. But Kyle and I used to work together at Technology Solutions Company in Exogen, and we've been friends for a while. But to me, Kyle is a very respected individual, very knowledgeable in the world of imaging, and I'm glad he was able to come out to talk to us in the special edition of the Alan Mo Show, focusing on breast imaging and AI. Kyle, it's good to see you, my friend.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Mo.
So, a lot of things have been going on, in the industry. Right now, Kyle, what are you currently working on?
So currently I'm the Vice President of Imaging and Clinical Applications at Solis Mammography, one of the largest private providers of women's services in the U.S.
Excellent. So I think kind of, Al, we want to just, this is a kind of a free-flowing discussion. We did have a couple of points that we wanted to address with you. Really, I was at SIM and there was a lot on, imaging and AI, and, the breast imaging is a big one. So I kind of first off the bat, Al, you got some questions for Kyle.
I was going to say, Kyle, as you know, breast imaging has just exploded, right? I think they do over 40 million images a year in either screening or diagnostics. How do you see the industry today? I mean, Solis is throughout the country. Where do you see the industry today? And what do you think's happening in breast imaging that's new and inventive?
Well, I think to date, there's 135 different companies that are currently working on AI models for the breast imaging market. So there's a lot of excitement in the market, a lot of things going on. And the big things that are going on currently are updated CAD and identifying regions of interest, and then a risk model to say that this patient has X, a percentage of risk of developing breast cancer in the future. So current models like Tyrer-Cuzick are all future-based, that it's a lifetime risk. And what we're seeing is a movement towards identifying risk based on the images themselves and make that a much shorter time frame, something very immediate where it is much more impactful for the patient.
And Kyle, one of the things, we always hear about is those false positives, right? Especially in screenings, right? Is this really helping? Is there anything helping with those false positives in screenings today?
Sure. Like the CAD models most of them are coming with a case score, or a score that shows that the AI model's overall belief that there's cancer detected in this patient. And the idea is never to replace the radiologist, but the idea is to say that this is a very low risk. And so if you get a score from 0 to 20 out of 100, then the idea is that a radiologist can move faster through that screen, feeling comfortable that there's nothing there. And then conversely, if you're getting a score of 80s and 90s, the AI model is never perfect, but it would hope that the radiologist would take pause and maybe spend a little bit more time on that study.
So you see AI is definitely help making radiologists more efficient in breast imaging as far as that goes, right?
Oh, 100%. And it's identifying regions of interest so that they can maybe spend less time looking at the rest of the breast tissue and more time looking at areas that are flagged as potentially cancer. Just the suspicious lesions.
And Mo, one other question I had for Kyle.
Yeah.
It's funny, when we first started seeing breast imaging, it had 2D, and then Tomo came out 3D, and now you have high def 3D, right? How do you see that? I mean, think about the amount of data we're collecting now, right? I mean, how has that impacted Solis as far as, their approach to, storing this data?
It's a real issue, the high def, because it's great PR, it sells well, but it also vastly increases the network utilization as well as the storage utilization. Different vendors approach that differently. Hologic will take the 6 1 millimeter slices and put them together into one slab, then offset 3 millimeters into another slab overlapping. And their AI will pull out lesions, to the front of that. Your other vendors, your Fuji, your GE, and your Siemens, they all preserve the original 1 millimeter slices, whereas Hologic discards them. So you see an increase in the study size going to 3D, which is problematic for organizations that do a lot of tomo. Like, it's already hard to get the right images to the right doctor at the right workstation
at the right time. Yeah. No, exactly. That's why we're, when you think about, I'm going to call it some of the models are in place now where you're moving images to diagnostic workstations, right? Especially if you're maintaining them 1 millimeter slabs, you've got a ton of data, especially if you look at the step protocols and you want to look back at every case or 10 years, right? You're moving, I'm going to say, a ton of data to those stations. And this is funny because this is my sweet spot, right? Is, when you look at solutions like Sectra and some others now that have integrated right into PACS, so it's like a PACS workflow. You think about they have integrated ABUS, et cetera. Do you see that actually beneficial, because now you're not moving that data, to a workstation specifically, but you're streaming it just like if it was a normal PACS workflow? I'll call it.
Right. The traditional model was to push tomos to every workstation, and because they might be read there. And that's really problematic. Like, for me personally, I prefetch 125,000 tomos every Saturday morning. So it's a lot of data.
Right.
But I'm prefetching that back within my data center. And then the model that we're working forward with in our PACS is that, in a PACS-driven workflow, the doctor logs in logs into a specific work list, and we're streaming the next 5 cases with priors. So we're moving away from that idea of trying to pre-cache and guess where the study is going to be read, but stream it real time and only move it to one workstation, just the one workstation where it's going to be read. And that we're having a great success with that model.
All right, excellent. Good. Yeah, I see the industry. There's the benefits with that, because thinking about, designing those routing protocols, I'll call it, right? It's just it's an ongoing task. Let's just put it that way, right?
So it's something that my team lives with every single day, and so trying to manually push that for every workstation, every radiologist is not a sustainable or scalable model.
From a patient's perspective, how do you see, these AI results, and how are the doctors using it to work with the patients? Are they? And it was funny because when I was at SIM, there was a session about AI generated reports, and if the radiologist disagrees, do they really need to share that with the client? So how are they taking this data that the AI is generating, and then the doctor using it with the client or with the patient?
So we're actually living with this pretty regularly now, because one of the AI models that we've implemented in production is that we're using, it's called breast arterial calcification, but we're using a screening mammogram to screen for heart disease. And in the mammogram, you can see where the breast arteries are calcified. But it's a very new technology, and we do get some disagreements where the radiologist says, the AI marked it as positive, but I disagree. And the thing is, we're sharing that result that the AI produced with the patient. And so we are actually seeing our radiologists in their report mentioning that there's a disagreement with the AI model. And then we're providing that to the patient, because we want to inform the patient about their own health and let them and their referring provider make the ultimate choice.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Really interesting.
That's really neat. Yeah, that's really cool. Kyle, it's funny. We were talking earlier in the week about the whole crowdsource, data issue, and we were talking about security, and honestly, you think about security. But I thought the discussion we had about how your Solis is approaching security, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Especially when you talk about AI in the cloud, right? Why don't you explain a little bit how Solis and an AI, where you're stripping off the PHI information, I'll call it, before maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, because I know when we talk just about how patients are interacting with that, maybe you want to talk a little bit about how Solis is approaching that to make sure their data is secure.
So for anytime we look at a new model, we start it with a security assessment, and we're typically looking for things like SOC 2 or high trust, because we have to ensure, as you mentioned, any third party that you interact with creates a risk or an opportunity for, it's another threat vector.
Right.
So we start off with, a thorough security assessment of any partner before we enter into an agreement. Some AI vendors choose to put things on-prem. In general, I kind of disagree with that model because it at scale with 100 plus centers, 136, I think. If I had a on-prem solution, it's harder to update that AI model. If we partner with a cloud partner where the AI model is running in the cloud, when they release a new version of the model, it's very quick to be updated. It's much easier to address issues. So most of the AI partners we work with, we have an on-prem gateway or edge server. We would store DICOM to that edge server. It de-identifies or removes all patient references and just inserts, dummy values, right. Shoots those images to the cloud. And what we get back is a single image where we just get the secondary capture DICOM SR object back, which is reintegrated with the demographics and inserted back into PACS. So that's what I'm seeing more and more of, that kind of edge device with cloud. And then, of course, there's AI marketplaces that would allow me to have one integration, but still the same concept.
Yeah. I think that was, I was like, that's the perfect workflow that you want, right? Because you're just sending images up there. If anybody intercepts them at that point, they're kind of useless, right? Which is exactly, the security that you want in that. But yeah, it's funny when you think about patients becoming more and more involved in their own healthcare, I call it, making sure that they understand that, we're taking all types of precautions in order to make sure their data is secure, right? Healthcare has always lagged, I call it, a couple of years behind all the other industries, right?
Oh, for sure.
Well, yeah. Nonetheless.
Some of the, lately you're reading about and seeing about in AI applications, inequality amongst different demographics. I mean, and like I said, we talked in the last episode with dermatology, different skin tones in the AI applications may not pick up on the darker skin tones. Is there any type of, seen any type of inequality related to the data sets as far as in breast imaging AI goes? Are there certain demographics where this technology isn't working because there isn't enough data or other factors?
I think we see more issues with breast density, obscuring lesions than we see with inequalities. But I mean, with any AI model, the key to success of AI is training. So just like training, a doctor is biased by the school they went to and their professors and their residents and their attending. AI is just as biased by the data that it's given. Yeah. And so the secret sauce around building good AI is good training, which is no different than any of us.
Right.
Exactly. I agree.
Makes sense.
We have to have that diverse pool of data in order to make sure AI has all that information, right? Because again, it's only as, and I use the term, it's only as smart as the information you get it and it learns about, right?
Right.
So that's exactly correct. Yeah.
Things that we do at Seeking Healthcare, where we anonymize and pump data in AI applications.
There you go. Go ahead, Kyle. You want to say something?
And just as important as showing positive cases is looking at all of the reasons that you mentioned false positives, but creating data sets that teach AI to be more specific. So the specificity, which is, preventing those false positives.
Yeah, exactly. So, Kyle, and Mo, we've been striving to keep our podcast short, but so I have one other question, Kyle. And you've been in the industry as long as I have, right? Which is, I don't want to say how long, but a long time, right? If you had one wish, and this is what I always say, how would you change the industry? What would you like to see in the next 2 to 3 years?
So what I'd like to see with breast AI is that, currently most of the models are based on one image. It's only looking at the current screening mammogram. I'd really like to see AI models evolve, and most of the industry is, the folks I'm talking to say they're working on it, but it should be looking at 2 or 3 priors, because that's how a radiologist looks at something. You look at the lesion and say, if that lesion hasn't grown in 3 years, it's a lower risk. But a lot of the markings today are just based on that one image, and it's great that you're looking at it today, but having that history is invaluable. So just seeing that technology come along, that we're looking at priors as part of the CAD detection, I think will go a long way in improving the data that we're giving to the radiologist to make their determination.
Excellent.
That's great. So,
That's perfect.
Kyle, if anyone wants to find out more about your organization, what's the website that they can go to?
Solismammo.com.
We'll also have some links below in the information. Kyle, we really appreciate you, coming out and speaking with us. We know you're very busy. I think some amazing things that you guys are doing within the world of AI and healthcare. Al, how about you?
No, I just want to say, technology is great. We had technical difficulties with my background. So it goes to show you, even the experts have technical difficulties, right? I love
That's
it.
right. Al,
Kyle, thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure talking with you. I learn something new every time we speak. So I appreciate it. Thank you. And really have a great day.
And we also look forward to seeing you over at RSNA, hopefully.
Yeah.
You bet. I'll be there. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, do you know Al is a big pickleball guy? How's pickleball going, Al?
Got another tournament coming up in September. Yeah, Kyle.
Tournament?
Yeah. Well, I'm a retired guy, I think, right? At least that's what I like to say. But yeah, it's between pickleball and golf and doing the LMO show right now.
That's right. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you both. And then Kyle, as always, it's always good to talk to you, and we will definitely see you soon. Thanks everyone for joining us. See you in the next Alan Moe show.
Yep. Have a great day. See you, everybody.